Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of the Pixel Crashers podcast, a podcast where we discuss our thoughts on gaming news. I am Angelus de Mortiel, together with Kev the Gamer.
Overwatch is life.
Major Stupidity.
What's up, everyone?
And Deathshroud09.
Wait, what was that? I was reloading. Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah.
Forever the noob. Forever the noob.
It's my fault. I was converting him onto Overwatch. Telling his laptop that he hasn't ascended with can run it.
So apparently this is now turned into Kev talking about Overwatch.
All things Overwatch. If you notice on my channel, I haven't posted anything really but Overwatch since it's come out.
Skipping the
game
games
is amazing.
played. Skipping the games played. Why don't we just go straight into Overwatch?
Overwatch is life.
Well, no, this is going to be at least the first 30 to 45 minutes is probably going to be dominated by Overwatch, and that can't really be avoided, I guess. But aside from that,
don't spoil anything for me.
So I'm going to spoil the ending for you. I'm going to spoil the ending for you, Travis. Spoiler alert.
Bastion kills everyone. That's the ending.
What is it?
Bastion kills
If you haven't seen the Honest Game trailers video on it, I love how he does a section where he's like starring and he basically makes fun of how all the characters will like something they look like or a theme about them. I love how at the end of it he's just like, and all those fuckers playing Bastion or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people hate Bastion. People think Bastion's overpowered. Bastion isn't overpowered.
No, he's not. He's just he's the ultimate camper class. That's what he is.
He's designated camper class, right?
Yeah. Because he just mounts up like a turned and then just hoses down a hallway or a doorway. He is your camper class.
I feel these people never played Team Fortress.
He's great for defense though. Like if you're holding a point.
Yeah.
Like I've done that. Like if the team is just really really good and like I really can't beat them in gunfights, like straight up, like with a Pharaoh or something. Yeah, I'll go in a corner and I will hide at the objective with Bastion. But there's not enough straight lines of sight to which you're really.
Do you have fond memories of playing Team Fortress 2 and hiding in your base and building up your death trap maze of turrets? Well, now you can just be the turret with Bastion.
And if you hose down enough people with his Gatling gun, then you get upgraded to a mobile missile platform.
Yep, for 7 seconds.
Yeah, 7 seconds of being death on wheels and everybody hating you.
No, if you're Widowmaker, you don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Because I played Widowmaker and destroyed several Bastions.
Hey, I just gotta say the best part of Overwatch is it's high noodle.
Actually, I got one of those things with Bastion, actually. It's high, noon, turn, destroy him with Bastion.
Yeah, every time you hear that poor... Unfortunately, McCree he's got such an amazing, powerful ultimate and never gets to use it.
Oh, no. People are hitting his ultimate all the time.
Really?
If you're, like, decent. The problem... Actually, I think McCree is actually a little OP because of his flashbang.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not just flashbang. It's not just flashbang. It's also the. It's the fan the hammer, right? Like
right click win.
Yeah. Like the thing
I
is,
think it's like left trigger on PS4.
Yeah, like they're actually Blizzard has openly said they're kind of looking at maybe altering the balance of that because you can literally run up to Roadhog and freaking flashbang him, fan the hammer, dodge roll, fan the hammer, and he's dead.
Yeah, actually, I did a video on that, actually, and I was pissed. I was playing as Reinhardt. I pinned, McCree, pinned him against the wall, which it takes down D.Va and her tank.
Yeah.
I pinned him to the wall. He somehow tanked it, flashbanged me, and killed me. And I pinned him from behind.
Sounds like you need to get good.
Yeah, it sounds like Kev doesn't know how to Reinhardt. That's what it sounds like to me.
That's a one-hit kill.
That's
a one-hit kill.
No, for real, it sounds like you don't know how to Reinhardt. Because I've never had anybody survive except for Roadhog. Roadhog is the only one who survived because he popped the fucking beer. He drank his moonshine before I hit him with that, and he survived. That's the only
right. That's the thing I was talking about. And apparently, if he has armor on, Like, if you have armor on, you can survive it. But most people don't. I don't believe this guy had armor on, though.
Yeah.
And it was a legit pen. And I'll be honest, I don't play Reinhardt the most. I think the most I played is Pharah. I think I'm like 6 hours in with Pharah. And then Diva I have like 3 or 4, and Widowmaker I have like 3. I've only played like 23 hours of the game, maybe. So not a ton.
Could be worse.
Yeah, it could be like your 80-something hours you got the first week playing The Witcher.
It was 40 hours the first week, all right, maybe 50. It might have been 60.
So
I'm not sure.
The point is, you made The Witcher into a full-time job, bro. I commend you. It took me like 11 days to beat The Witcher, and I got to like 50 hours in 11 days.
It happens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the other thing,
I think I put it like 40 hours in like the first 2-3 days. Now I think about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other important thing that needs to be discussed, I believe, is the fact that, well, Kev, I don't know if you knew this or not, but PS4's graphics for Overwatch look better than PC's.
Peasantry! High quality peasantry! According to
a misinterpreted GameSpot video, and I don't know for certain if it was April Fool's, because it says it was published on March 31st.
They're all lies! Peasant spot! Lie spot!
But it's like everybody this week lost their damn mind. Like, downvoting and hating in the past, like, 2 days. 1 or 2 days. Everybody just suddenly found this GameSpot video where they're comparing PS4 to PC, and they've obviously shunted down the PC settings to low to make it look on par with PS4, and people just hating it all over the place. Like,
they got paid off by Sony.
You were like, it was published on March 31st. Where have you been for 2 months?
Peasantry.
There was even this guy named Kev the Gamer who put up a video about it where he was bitching and complaining about it, and I'm like,
peasantry. That's all I said. Is it was high quality peasantry, and it is.
But yeah. So in any case, Joe, have you been playing anything outside of work?
Shadow Warrior. I beat it in like 3 days. It's a great game. It's like,
so tell us a bit about Shadow Warrior, because I actually don't know what it is because I'm lazy.
I mean, it's a first-person shooter that it's basically it's a giant homage to like like 80s B action movies, like B-rated action movies.
Okay.
Like it's super cheesy and over the top. The main character not only snarks, but also has basically his sidekick demon friend, who's also snarky, and they literally, most of their conversations are like snark-offs. Are literally them trying to out-snark each other.
Snark-offs.
It's just so entertaining, and then you're just in the backdrop of just mowing down armies of demons. You get to not only wield guns, but you also wield a katana. Because of course you do.
Of course you do.
I mean, it's like
you're a hitman you're a former hitman for a giant corporation. You're a corporate shogun who turned on the master.
It's basically Doom with samurai swords. Let's be real about it.
The head of the corporation wanted his youth back and his ability to actually use his body, so he made deals with the demons, and that's why they're invading. So you turn on your corporate master and go on a quest to assemble this legendary sword that can slay the ancients.
That's right. End the corporate slavery. I love it. Now we get some of these corporate slaves online to quit.
You fucking
learn from Shadow Warrior.
You can send out shockwaves. You sprint, and you even get like a little dash ability, so you dash around the battlefield with your fucking sword. Or you can pull out your rocket launcher or your shotgun and just go to town on waves of demons. It's so much fun.
all I want to know is, do the demons that I'm fighting, the corporate shill demons, do they have AMD, NVIDIA, Microsoft, and or Sony helmets on?
What about Nintendo? I understand they're a Suicide Watch, but damn.
Yeah.
After the Wii U, like we don't know
Wait,
what's going on with Nintendo.
what's
Wait,
Wii?
what
What's
happened with Nintendo?
Sarcasm.
what's the
It
Wii
was
U?
sarcasm.
I've never heard of that before.
What's really
Yeah.
surprising is by the end of Shadow Warrior, I'm not going to spoil it, but they actually managed to have a pretty sad ending. And it actually ends up coming out and being like, you know what? It's a pretty good story. Like, yes, it was very tropey, and it was very, like, the premise of it was very kind of like, you know, just cheesy. But it ends up being pretty good.
What was that movie on Netflix that was called like something Fury or something
Kung
whatever?
Fury.
Huh?
Kung Fury.
Yes. It was like every 80s action movie. Like the best part of that movie was when Hitler was talking to some guy on a phone, points a gun at the phone and starts shooting into the phone and it shoots the guy on the other end.
You know what's
I mean,
great
it's something
is
easy.
one level on Shadow Warrior is while you're tracking down one of the pieces of the sword. First, you make a stop by your protagonist's house, and he's like, "I gotta pick up something from my house." He goes there, and it's a fucking, of course, like mansion up there. It's on fire already, but he takes an underground, like a secret entrance in his drained pool that leads to a fucking bat cave underneath his house,
I
where he
approve.
has a fucking like armored like superhero kind of suit, like this fucking samurai suit, and he has a fucking crossbow down there,
Glorious.
and it's just,
I can see that.
I mean, it's just
I mean, doesn't everybody have one of those? Underneath their
I don't know about you guys.
Spot on.
I have 3.
Well, I mean, like Travis, the entire Everglades is like underneath the entire Everglades. Travis has a giant bat cave with like every
Basically,
weapon known to man. He has like nuclear payloads, just hundreds of thousands of guns. You know, like he even has a mutant
That
army
sounds
down
like Travis, you know. Everybody in Florida has at least 2. Arizona does too.
there. So Travis, you done anything fun this week?
Work. And
That's the worst video game in the world.
Work.
Yeah, it is.
I hear it got a 6 out of 10 on GameSpot.
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of job you do. Like, if you're a porn star, are you really complaining about your job? If you're a male porn star,
I don't know. Man.
I don't know. It's not as good as you think it is.
Yeah, I think you have a kind of a very strange view on it because,
that
like,
just sounds like a fun job.
you know,
That
you
sounds
start
miserable
and
to
then
me.
you stop,
You don't
and then
wanna
you
see
start and
behind
then
the
you
scenes.
stop, cut, stop, you know, start again. Man, she
You guys
doesn't.
have looked way more into this than you should have.
No, I know enough about the
Morty's done
industry.
his research.
Yeah. So no, it's not the dream job. However, being Tony Stark, yeah, I would be
Why
okay
be
with that
Tony Stark when you could be Bruce Wayne?
because Bruce Wayne is boring and moody all the time.
Oh.
But you get to be Batman.
And
You get to be yourself unless you get to be Batman. Then be
Iron
Batman.
Man versus Batman.
I'd rather be Batman.
I'd rather be Iron Man because come on now, why would I have to be the world's greatest detective and figure all this shit out myself when I've got these fucking AIs like Jarvis to do it all for me,
You're
right?
just a Marvel fanboy. Meanwhile, Batman's like the only DC character I actually like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of them that are kind of interesting. Like honestly, I've had some kind of interest in Green Lanterns sometimes, mainly because the whole universe with the different Lantern Corps and stuff like that. I don't know how, since I never really read Green Lantern. Don't ask me how I know about all of the Lantern Corps, but yeah. So
I don't know. DC never grabbed me. Like as a kid, everybody remembers the X-Men cartoons from the '90s. Marvel had me hooked from then. Like that was my first experience with Marvel, and I've loved them since.
yeah, those ones were pretty good, especially with with pretty much Gambit. He was the main character. He was the best character in the X-Men back in the 90s.
Fun fact: actually, I loved Gambit so much I got a hamster and named him Gambit. I was like 9 years old.
My favorite character from the new X-Men movie was Quicksilver.
I have yet to see that movie.
You
but I
know,
heard it was really bad.
okay, so my question is, Quicksilver, is he better in X-Men or is he better in the Avengers Age of Ultron, which he fucking died? Come on, Marvel. Anyway.
How do you die in one movie and then show up in the next?
Did I see him in Age of Ultron? I don't remember him.
He's in there.
Oh yeah, he is very much.
Actually,
he is very.
Is that the newest?
He's Scarlet Witch's brother, you know, right?
Yeah, he's Magneto's son.
Oh, Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I saw the second Avengers then. Maybe.
Oh yeah, he was in it. Of course, he died.
Yeah, I heard he was in it. But
by the way, spoiler alert.
Watch that tonight.
that
Sorry.
really doesn't spoil a whole lot of other stuff, but you know he's gonna die now. So congratulations.
Every time I go on podcast, people spoil stuff for me. Last week I was on Weaponwood podcast again.
You know what?
They spoiled
That movie is 2 years old now.
It's old enough that you know what it's like. Whatever.
No,
I had
spoiling
Star Wars. I had the new Star Wars movie spoiled.
I have not had that spoiled for me yet, and I am glad for it. And I still haven't watched it.
I had the new Star Wars movie spoiled as soon as I found out the identity of Kylo Ren. I pretty much knew exactly how the movie was going to end.
People spoiled that immediately, and then they spoiled what happened to a certain character, and then by the end of it, I was just like, I'm not even that surprised. I was like, oh, they went that for me.
Listen, spoiler alert.
Avoid in the comment section. Avoid in the comment section. Muty Morty.
So, like, just throwing it out there. Spoiler alert, in the new Star Wars movie, Kylo Ren stops a blaster bolt in midair. Spoiler alert.
I couldn't hear you. I took my headphones off and just, damn it, I'm on cam. I can't use that.
But yeah, so anyway, what were you talking about? Avengers, whatever, DC. Yeah, so let's talk more about Overwatch, shall we? Because there's some fun Overwatch news been happening this week. Depending on your viewpoint, I mean, sometimes more fun than others. As the thumbnail for the video this week entails. So it wasn't really a surprise that, the hype of Overwatch launch, coincided with a large increase of the presence of porn based on the game.
Because the internet is for porn.
Yeah, it's Rule 34, right? So what is surprising on it is that the pornography based on the game is being taken down on many sites.
Kind of surprising. Blizzard seems like they're smart enough not to do something dumb like that.
Well, Blizzard was the first ones to do it. They feel like it's just going to ruin their shit.
Yeah, so my question is, and this is kind of there is no clear answer to this one, right? Do you guys think that's a violation of fair use?
No.
I think it's a violation of humanity. Like, first off, Widowmaker is bae. Don't ever do that to my girl Widowmaker. Number two, why the hell are y'all fapping over cartoon characters?
Teach
There's
their
all
own.
these women running around and y'all over here looking at cartoon characters.
Kev,
Yo,
have you actually looked at any of it just out of curiosity to see what all the hubbub was about?
yeah, I looked at it out of curiosity, and I'm like, what the hell?
There's a lot of work goes into some of those. Like, there is actually some pretty damn high quality stuff.
There's a lot
I'm
of
not
like,
saying I'm saying it's creepy.
Joe, there's a little too much admiration in
around.
your voice there.
All these women
Because
running around throwing it at people willy-nilly, and you looking at Overwatch porn.
I can see how much I can see how much work goes into creating some of the GIFs and different stuff they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the problem is it's just perverted.
Well, the thing is I say honestly, to each their own as far as that goes. Because here's the truth: if a person wants to look at animated pornography, I mean, who the fuck is that hurting? Really?
It's just weird. I mean, at least they're not touching kids or something. I'll give them that.
Yeah, like I'm not sure that's really a fair comparison of saying, watching animated porn's like pedophilia.
I'm saying as long as they're not doing that,
because there's obviously a huge leap in legality definitions of watching pornography of any kind and pedophilia. Obviously, one will land you in prison for a very long time, in which case you will be the little child being touched by a much bigger person. And you deserve it. But no, where I was going with the fair use bit, though, and kind of the interesting part of this thing here is, could pornography based off of a top, like, take your theme, in this case Overwatch, could pornography based off of like a game like Overwatch be considered a parody? In which case, be covered by fair use.
I can see that.
Yeah, of course. It's all covered by fair use.
No. Actually, it is not clearly covered by fair use. That's the thing. Is that has not been answered.
Fair use is in a very.
Then you could easily call it parody.
There's a lot of loopholes
because a lot of the time it is.
Yeah, well, like I said,
maybe they should.
Fair use is determined on a case by case basis. So,
Right.
like I said, they're one of the particular instances of the pornography. Actually, apparently, and I have not seen this yet, so I'm basing this off of comments I read somewhere, Reddit possibly, I don't know. But in any case, though, one of the apparent cases of this was that they actually used the in-game character models from the game. I don't know how they cracked them out of the game or whatever. Doesn't matter. In which case, that's going to make that's going to make the case for your fair use of the game a little bit more difficult. But
what makes it really weird is it's like Blizzard created some of these characters, and they are sexualized. And it's like there's all these aspects here where it was like we want to benefit off making these characters sexy, but then when people take it a step further, we want to go after you. It's like,
I mean,
really?
come on, let's
Really,
talk about Roadhog. He is
That's
like
some double standard.
he is like the epitome of a male porn star right there, right? I saw him the first time and I was like, Ron Jeremy.
Nope, it's
But
all
like
about the dwarf. The dwarf will go home.
Yeah,
Characters
dwarf
like
that
Widowmaker.
mustache ride, baby.
I know, right?
Characters like Widowmaker, Diva, Tracer.
Diva's not even sexualized though.
No, Diva is.
She's like an 11-year-old kid.
No, Asian, dude. She's freaking Asian. She's not 11.
I'm pretty sure she's the most popular character out of all of them.
I love Diva. I love using Diva in games.
No, Tracer is actually the most
it's-
popular search for one
Is
as
she?
far as adult entertainment goes.
Oh yeah. Tracer doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
It's
it's mainly because Tracer's been the one surrounded by the most controversy
she's been
regarding
out
being
the longest,
sexualized.
too.
Yeah,
She's been
Yeah,
out the longest.
because she's like the mascot or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're talking about
I
sexy
bet
characters,
Diva's
I'm thinking Widowmaker.
Hey, it's all about Mercy.
Oh, Mercy. If Mercy was a real chick, well, oh my god. I'm not gonna lie. If I saw her walking down the street, I don't even like blondes like that.
But anyway, I just think it's ridiculous that Blizzard makes such a big deal out of it. It's like, really?
I mean, I think that's where DMCA's kind of go all over the place because DMCA,
It's just they do this for like everything. It's like
right.
really?
There's no fine line between that law and fair use.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just ridiculous.
The DMCA just kind of out of control.
Such a waste of their time.
Well, they're protecting their IP, and I get that.
That's so dumb.
Especially if you want to make
It's not hurting
Overwatch
their
like a
IP.
family. Well, it can in the long run if people are associated more with porn than say with. I think this game is rated T or rated E. I'm not sure. Probably rated T.
Here's the thing: if
you want to make it like a family-friendly game, I can totally see that.
If they hadn't made a big deal about it, so fewer people would realize that it's there. Because this is the type of thing that happens in everything, every like game or every medium that comes out. There's the scene that goes on. Most people don't realize. Blizzard basically took it, the Rule 34 scene, and just brought it into the spotlight. And then was like, oh. And it's like, Blizzard, if you hadn't said anything, no one would have cared. Like, you've made this such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
By going after it. It's so dumb. They keep different companies keep doing this. It's like the moment you go after these things, it brings it into the spotlight. You bet your stuff backfires on you so quick.
And when it's on the internet, it never goes away. You take it down off of a website, it's going to appear somewhere else.
No, here's the thing.
Right.
This is the truth. Is that
It'll
most of the
be on
time,
Pirate Bay forever.
I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but oftentimes the way that they censor stuff online is they just send a notice to say like Google and have Google remove it from their search database. So here's the thing. There's a term in the IT world that we know of called the deep web or the dark web, whatever you want to call it. The dark net and deep web are two different zones of the internet. But the deep web, essentially, to summarize things very shortly, is all of the stuff that has been removed from searches and you can't actually find it through any kind of DNS server or anything like that. So
you have to know the actual website.
Well, you have to know IP addresses, or like there's various ways to get to it. The point is that there is some scary ass shit on there, and we're talking like the worst of pedophilia, bestiality. They're on the sexual side. Then you get to the non-sexual side. Assassins for hire, like legitimate real life hitmen for hire. There's guns, like gun sales of all kinds, and I don't mean like good old Billy Bob down the street in his rifle collection. I mean like Russian Romanov, selling. Yeah, this might be illegal. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, I think we are getting back online here, hopefully. Yeah, I don't know why the connection speed is tanking horribly. There we go. Okay, I think we're back up now. Okay, so anyway, now that our little connection difficulties there, seems like almost a weekly ritual at this point. So as I was saying, where was I going with that? See, this is what happens. I get sidetracked and it's gone. Anyway, so yeah, as far as it goes, the microtransaction, that's where I was going. Oh, it's not like skins, microtransactions for skins. Cool, that's great. That's fine. I'm glad it's not for anything else. But the fact that they have it randomized, it's unlicensed gambling, and I have a fundamental problem with it. That's my
gambling for what though? Like I understand. I just
you buy loot crates.
I think it's ludicrous. I just think the argument for like, okay, they're just skins in the game. Like, are we really calling the coloration of your character? That's all it is. You're changing the different colors.
Mm-hmm.
Gambling. My question is like
who
are they going
to release the skin?
Are they going to release free content because of this?
Yes. Yes, the maps and new characters will be free, and they're saying it's because of the microtransactions.
Then
they're copying basically what they did with Halo 5 did this, Rainbow Six Siege did this.
I don't know. I think it's somewhat justified because it's like you have to fund further development somehow. And if you're not going to make people pay for DLC, well, this is a good alternative.
My thing is that you have so you have League of Legends. Now, League of Legends does sell its heroes, piecemeal as well, but they make a killing off of skins, and they come out with new skins for their characters all the time. They don't necessarily release new characters a lot. They'll just release new skins, and people eat that shit up. Like, skins aesthetics is a great monetization model for a free-to-play or not so free-to-play game.
I know they're big in CSGO.
Yeah, they're a whole COD. They're huge in CSGO. Same with Dota. I mean, a lot of those CSGO is not free-to-play, but point is,
will be. Point it's like $10, $5 on a Steam sale.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is not so much the when I was talking about like the random aspect of it. As opposed to buying the skin outright, which most other places, like now CSGO does with loot crates as well, I believe, right? They don't have
even Call of Duty has,
but you can buy the skins you want directly by some means or another. With CSGO, you can buy it from other players, right?
In Overwatch, all my skins that I haven't unlocked, and I've unlocked some high-end skins, I just got with the in-game currency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's you buy crates and it's random.
No, so, I'm saying like once you get the crates, some of the crates give you in-game currency, and I've used those to buy skins.
Oh,
or they give you other skins, or they give you voiceover stuff. That's it's not that big of a deal. Every time you level up, you get a crate.
Yeah, but that doesn't last. That doesn't last very long. Before you get like the first 10, 15 levels fairly decently, but after that. Yeah, but you've been playing it a lot.
I have like 20 hours in the game. So I guess, that's a little bit of a lot. I'm seeing some level 60s and 70s pop up. Yep. But most people I see are about where I'm at.
Yep. Oh, looks like Travis dropped out. But in any case, Yep.
It was just his video did.
I'm just restarting my cam.
Yeah, he just quickly had to change clothes. So... So anyway, as we're kind of like going off on microtransactions, I like I said, I think that their microtransactions aren't bad. I think they're okay.
Yeah.
It's
that's what I was saying. They're okay. Like there are some atrocious microtransactions policies out there.
Yes.
I just don't think Overwatch is one of them.
Yeah,
like let's look at
definitely.
Halo 5. Like these rec packs are basically pay to win.
Perfect
Yeah,
world.
it's like their microtransactions are purely skins, and they're funding further development of the game where you don't have to pay for DLC like maps and characters, which means you're not dividing the community. Like,
Yeah.
Now Halo 5 did
I think
do the
it's
same
great.
thing with free maps and updates like that. But I don't like the rec packs. That's what got me not playing Halo 5 anymore.
Perfect World.
I do not like the idea.
Perfect World
Yeah,
Entertainment.
Perfect World is another one.
Yeah, and Nexon tends to be pretty bad with microtransactions. So, yeah, I definitely don't have a problem with their microtransaction system. All the characters are unlocked to you from the start. You don't have to pay for any official DLC, no new characters and that sort of thing. You're literally paying all aesthetics. I don't much care for the sprays. Those are kind of annoying because what the hell? I remember like the team and I were using sprays on the walls before we got into the game, but after that we never fucking touched them. Like
yeah, they're fun for before the game.
Yeah,
I like them for that.
But otherwise, that's what you get the most of, and it's about the most useless. Like I like the voiceovers, the animations, like the kill or the play of the game animations or whatever. Those are actually pretty nice. But yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and get moving on to another fun one. So Ubisoft is running a Humble Bundle, guys. Humble Bundle, the thing that is run for charity, where you buy a bunch of games that a publisher, developer has bundled together, sold you at a really cheap price, and the proceeds from those sales go to a charity. It's great.
I mean, this isn't like their first rodeo doing this. They've done it several times.
Except for this time.
In fact, they ran this one in February.
Yeah, not quite. Because this one, see, they decided they're doing the same Humble Bundle that they did in February, with the exception of they added a $75 tier that gets you the Division. And if you read the fine print,
the last one was like $60.
Yeah, but if you read the fine print on this one, $60 of that $75 actually pays for the Division. So you're buying the Division, and then spending $15 to yeah. Like, so essentially they're using Humble Bundle as a means to sell the Division.
So you can't just put all the money towards charity?
No, like you can buy the $15 pack and that would be the same as buying the $75 pack. $15 is going to charity either way. And
well, I mean, we already know fuck Ubisoft. Ubisoft is trying to get their title back from Konami. They really are,
well,
right?
My question see, first of all, right now Ubisoft is also like they're kind of unfortunately they're screwing themselves because right now doing shit like this actually hurts their stock prices in the long run because it brings negative feedback for it. And that's going to make a stronger case for Vivendi Universal, who's circling them like a shark or like a buzzard. You name your, sensing weakness and homing in on the kill, because Vivendi Universal just took over Gameloft, which is a French development company who was run by the CEO of Ubisoft's brother. So Guillermo, whatever his name was, Guillermo, who was the CEO of Gameloft, got ousted by Vivendi Universal, and so now his brother is kind of next on the chopping block because they're essentially trying to leverage Gameloft against Ubisoft.
I mean, fuck Vivendi Universal as well.
Well,
can we just agree? Fuck Ubisoft in general.
Well, the question you have there, right? So is Vivendi Universal could easily be seen as partly to blame for the good that came out of Blizzard and Activision. And once Activision Blizzard bought themselves out from underneath of Vivendi Universal, all of a sudden you have the yearly iterative Assassin's Creed. Or no, sorry. Sorry, that was Call of Duty. I got myself backwards.
I don't know.
I
think just be skeptical when a big enough company starts buying up everything, because then it's like...
EA?
Yeah.
Well, it's essentially that Ubisoft is kind of on a slowly sinking ship.
Well, because they won't like they just keep doing
They
stupid
don't have
shit.
it. Well, they don't have enough IPs is the problem at this point, and that's why I think they're giving Assassin's Creed a rest. They tried the Division, and it's played with hackers, and they won't do anything about it. Rainbow Six Siege isn't much different. Shout out to Blizzard, by the way, because they gave the banhammer like 1,500 people in the first week.
It's
Ubisoft
sad
needs
because
to take
Rainbow
note.
Six Siege is actually supposed to be pretty good.
Well, no, here's the thing, too, is that they just did, honestly, and it's not the first time a game has done this. I think Black Ops 3 also did this, where they are now releasing a starter edition of Rainbow Six Siege that's $15. And essentially...
And a grind fest.
Yeah, it's a grind fest, but it's just for the characters. It's not like there's really a lot unique to the different characters on there. So it's
Rainbow Six Siege?
Yeah. I mean, there's some unique stuff to them, but you can still be equally as effective. It's not like the different characters in that is not, say, as important as the different characters in Overwatch, for example.
I disagree heavily. It's very much so a character shooter. They're not as different as Overwatch.
That's what I'm meaning. Like, you essentially you get 4 characters to start off. You get 2 random and then 2 you pick. You can easily set yourself up with balanced roles of each type from the start, and then just play it as you want, and not have to worry about like the grind. Just play it, and then hey, oh man, I grinded up this reputation, and now I can buy another character, rather than feeling pressured to buy another character. As long as you start off the game smartly, I guess I could say, or you get screwed by RNG. I don't know, but
you could just bought the season pass and got all of them when they came out if it was that big a deal.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to buy the full game, then you don't have to worry about it. It's $2,000 for a character rather than $12,000. So that's obviously an option there. But the thing is it gives people who don't have the budget entry into the game. You know, $15 for full price AAA shooter that's actually one of the better tactical shooters that I've seen in a while. And, you know, does it for a good price. That seems good, but I really think they should have done it from the start, right? Rather than thrown in later on. Because I
think a lot of games, I think they're just doing it because Call of Duty did it, and it worked really well for Call of Duty.
Yep. And I think I honestly agree with that one. I'm pretty certain that's exactly why they're doing it, which is quite unfortunate, but it's something you kind of expect after a while, that whenever someone has a good idea, everybody else, you know. But like I said, and to blight me, yes, it is a good deal, and it is smart marketing, and more games should do that as a means of getting people into the entry of a game. Like, for example, if Overwatch or Battleborn or whatever had done something like this, where they have a $15 whatever that you get a select few of the heroes, like say one from each category in Overwatch. If you got offensive, defensive, tank, and support, one of each, and you choose whichever one of each you want, and then you grind up the in-game currency to purchase more, and it costs you $10 or $15 as opposed to $40.
While they're giving these ideas, please do not give people Bastion from the start. That shit will be annoying. or McCree while we're at it. You can all have Winston. That's what you can have. Everyone can have Winston. Well, Winston's actually really good.
Well, like I said, my opinion is that they should actually hand out like one of each category so people can fill any role they need to. The problem with that is, specifically with Overwatch, is since the game is very paper, scissors, rocky, like, so you've got certain classes that defeat certain other classes. That's where things get tricky. So you can't exactly just say, oh, I've got a tank. That's just for a tank. It's like, well, I need specifically Winston in order to counter, you know, this specific, you know, situation that we're encountering. That's where shit gets tricky.
Right.
But there are still other games still that you could do that with. Like I said, Battleborn would be a great idea for that. Because, I mean, they already had to drop their price permanently by $20 because gearboxes are filled with a bunch of fucking morons in their marketing department and decided to compete with
I
it.
just want to say who said told you so, because when I brought this up before, you
Wait, so what's going
debated
on with
it.
Gearbox?
What?
Well, after Overwatch came out, they lowered the price to Battleborn.
Oh no, I agree.
What was it originally?
I was at first, whenever I first saw you see that, I looked it up and I was like, huh, it's. Well, I think it was like Walmart and one other retailer still had it at 60, and then everybody else had it to 40. And then I don't know if you posted the story or I found the story that said they had permanently knocked the price down. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
They were trying to get 60
well, we were in
first.
Discord and I mentioned it, and you were like, like where did you hear this?
No,
Like,
I said, where did you hear that? And then I said, I Googled it, and the prices were, there was some retailers that hadn't got the memo yet, was what I said. And the thing about it is that, yeah, that's, they were stupid. They marketed a MOBA shooter against Overwatch, which is a very casual hero class-based shooter that's not a MOBA at all. It doesn't have a whole lot of depth to it, which is its own appeal. And it's got Blizzard's name behind it, whereas Gearbox still has a sour taste in its mouth to a lot of people. Just based on name alone, Blizzard versus Gearbox, people are going to buy Blizzard 9 times out of 10. Because Gearbox, all they have to their name is Borderlands and then Aliens Colonial Marines.
I mean, even on top of that, they should have really marketed it as, hey, here's a first-person MOBA.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot better. You know, that way you're not going against Dota, you're not going against League, you're not going as much against Smite or Paragon. Well, they might have been able to even hold themselves against Paragon.
Well, the thing is, it's not.
But
it's
you
not.
don't go against
I played
Overwatch.
Paragon. It is not. Paragon is honestly, if you took Smite and combined it with Dota, that's kind of what it more feels like, right? Because Paragon is a third-person point of view, like Smite. But it is very traditional in the sense of being like a MOBA like Dota is, to the point where you even have jungling and that sort of thing. So
right. Even Battleborn, I believe, even has that. My beef with the MOBA genre actually is the point of view. That's why I don't like Dota and League of Legends like that, because I don't like that third-person isometrical view. But that's actually one of the reasons I like Smite. I just
okay.
don't like playing
I will
Smite
throw it
solo.
out there to blight me on Twitch. If you think it had nothing to do with Overwatch, you were deluded. The drop in price in Overwatch,
Happened exactly when Overwatch
Battleborn came out. It did it the same damn day that Overwatch was released, because they have been marketing. Gearbox has been marketing Battleborn against Overwatch for months now, and it backfired.
Battleborn doesn't even have to be that similar to Overwatch. It's simply perception. Like,
yeah,
right.
exactly.
A lot of people saw it as.
The only thing those games have in common are the cartoony characters.
Yeah,
period.
exactly. They're two completely different games, and anybody who's played the two games knows that. But unfortunately, the people who don't know that only see the marketing materials that's put forth by the two games, which, you know, it's pretty accurate how Overwatch is portrayed it as these colorful characters, and it's a shooter, team-based shooter. Battleborn, you don't get a sense at all of what the game's like.
What's up with like terrible marketing teams nowadays? Like just recently, like Warcraft had an absolutely atrocious. Like regardless of your opinions on the movie, the marketing for Warcraft was terrible.
Was it?
So
yep.
Yeah, it was so bad.
It was bad.
It was like quick clips of the least interesting parts of the movies. The cutting was terrible, and it was played to dubstep.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like,
this sounds about as bad as the Mighty Number 9 trailer at this point.
Like, I don't like, a lot of times I think that they have, like, it's somebody's cousin or friend doing the marketing rather than a qualified, schooled marketing professional. Like, man, that trailer looks badass, right?
Well, if you get a team of 7th graders, they would work for a lot less than somebody with a marketing degree.
I just
pay them on a minimum wage, so they do it.
Yeah,
First,
I
you
don't
never
know.
know. Well, I think, who knows, marketing degree might not be worth as much as you guys are making it out to be. These might be trained marketing professionals who just really have no idea how to market to certain.
Well, yeah,
that is
No,
entirely
you're right.
possible. You're right. It could be that they just don't know how to market video games or video game like culture. They don't know how to
That was
connect with the
The,
audience.
the problem
video
with
game
the with
movies
just
are
GameStop, Amazon, and
historically bad
Walmart
marketing.
is that everyone, it wasn't just retail, everyone dropped their price.
Now,
Except for a couple stores who caught on later.
Now, I will compare that. Now, granted, it's a different genre, and it's a little bit easier for them to market this, but the Assassin's Creed marketing material for the new movie coming out looks fucking amazing. Like, if I had never played Assassin's Creed before, I would be interested in this movie. You know, like, and that's ideally what you want, right? The movie draws in a whole different audience, not just fans of the IP on the video game side of it. So, but
Hey, what's with all these video game movies? When you think about Warcraft, they just released Ratchet and Clank. Every time I think of a video game movie, I have nightmares of the Mortal Kombat movies, which actually comes to
Max
Switch,
Payne
whatever.
movie.
oh god,
I forgot about that. The Hitman movie, but I have nightmares
Which-
of the
which-
Super Mario
which
Brothers
Hitman
movie.
movie?
Remember
Which-
that movie?
which Hitman disaster
both
did?
horrible.
Yeah, they were both
Does it
bad.
matter?
They were both
The
bad.
only video game movies that I will say that I actually like, I like the original Resident Evil. I really, really like that. The
I
first
didn't-
Mortal Kombat was okay.
All right, the
I
Resident
didn't
Evil
think the
movies were
original
bad
Resident Evil
too.
was very good, but I think the second Resident Evil movie was actually pretty decent with
Oh
Nemesis.
yeah, the second one wasn't bad either.
That was the one I
I'm
liked.
not gonna lie, they were all pretty atrocious. They were cheesy action movie.
Yeah, but that's what Resident Evil is. Like, I don't know. I thought they were
No,
okay.
no, Resident Evil is
they
a
didn't
fucking
capture-
horror game. It's a
They
horror
didn't capture
game.
the feel of Resident
The
Evil.
first one was.
But if you watch them,
Up until the point when
as-
Mila Jovovich starts flipping off the walls and shit.
watch them for what they are, cheesy, over-the-top, ridiculous action movies, and they're pretty all right.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, even the games are kind of
Okay.
cheesy over the top. Like I said, the first one was real survival horror.
okay,
The
they're
second
not.
one, they kind of strayed more toward action. The third one was a little more survival horror. Code
Again, like-
Veronica was again a little actiony.
yeah.
And after that, they went
movies
just
didn't
hardcore
capture
action.
the feels of the game,
So,
the feel of the games
real,
at all.
real quick, so we
Other-
keep sort of on topic here to blight me. By the way, the reason why Overwatch or why Battleborn dropped $20 for for PC and not console, because guess what? Overwatch costs $60 on console and $40 on PC.
Wait, it does? I didn't know
Yes,
that.
Yes.
it does. It matched.
Why does
They
it cost
matched the
more?
Well, they
price.
have two prices. You can get the like the PC, the console version has extra skins.
Yeah,
And you can get that
You-
version
you
for
can-
$60
yeah.
on PC,
and it's not
or you
just
can buy
skins.
the basic version and be missing those skins.
It's not just skins in the game. It also gets you a bunch of other Blizzard-related skins, like something for World of Warcraft, something for Hearthstone, something for Heroes of the Storm. Like, they throw in a bunch of swag for those other games that you might play. If you're heavily embedded in the Blizzard sphere, so to speak, then it might be a good buy for you.
The hardcore
but
Blizzard
yeah.
fans.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that it's $40 on PC, $60 on console. Coincidentally, that is now what Battleborn costs full retail price from all retailers because it came from Gearbox. Gearbox has done an atrocious job at marketing this game, marketing Battleborn. I feel bad for them because I don't feel bad for Gearbox. Their CEO is a raging asshat that really needs to get out of that company. But I kind of feel bad for the developers because I don't think the whole company's full of assholes. It's just led by
Even
one.
as someone who likes like Borderlands, even I'm disgusted sometimes. Like Borderlands 2's DLC policy was just insane.
Yep.
Like
The Game of
fact
the
that
Year
they did it
edition is
recent-
also insane.
the Game of the Year edition doesn't have
It's
all the
ridiculous.
DLC.
Yeah.
It doesn't? I thought it did.
Pass doesn't include all the DLC.
Well,
No,
I mean,
they just kept making more.
they're not the only one that did that, right? So Oblivion did that with their Game of the Year edition. They included,
I think they're going to do with Fallout 4 also.
yeah,
I believe Fallout 4 has more DLC coming, but all the Season Pass DLC is out.
yeah, but
Is it?
Yeah, they just released Far Harbor. Far Harbor was the last one with the Season Pass.
No way.
came out
Not-
like
they,
two-
that's the reason they increased the price to $50 was so they could release more. They've only released like 2 small things
Yeah,
along with
I
Far Harbor. Far Harbor on its own.
Yeah, they
Well-
did the
Harbor's
Wasteland
like 50.
Reconstruction bullshit. Far Harbor, and then another story DLC in the Commonwealth.
Far Harbor's like what 15, I think, on its own, and then the the robot and then the Commonwealth like workshop are both like $5. That's like $25 worth of a $50 season pass, and that's how they're doing it. I'm not making up arbitrary numbers. That's how they're doing it. They're like, oh, it's going to be worth this much DLC. I think they're releasing more in their season pass. I don't.
Hey, I'm glad for it. I have the season pass. I paid the $20.
Oh yeah,
for it,
I picked it up just now and got it for 25.
Yeah, but in any case, though, I think we can all agree Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, is a raging asshat.
Oh yeah,
fuck Gearbox.
Well, and the thing is that unfortunately, because of the whole Alien Colonial Marines debacle, a lot of people are still actively boycotting that company. They will not touch anything relating to Gearbox at all because of how atrocious that was. I mean, there was a class action lawsuit. But in any case, though, with Battleborn, that's part of it. You already are working uphill. So what do? You tried to go against, compete with a heavyweight, because Blizzard is very well loved. If Nintendo was a software developer, that's Blizzard, right?
Yeah.
So they're.
Well, that's a very safe comparison because people love Nintendo the way people love Blizzard.
Yeah, it's a
No
very
matter what they do.
they have a very loyal fan base. They get a pass on a lot of failings that they do. Confusingly.
You know what though? The Blizzard crowd is a lot more they're a lot more critical than the Nintendo crowd. I'll tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. A lot of people, even the people who love Blizzard, I've talked to them. They will criticize Blizzard. They will call Blizzard out on all the shit they do. The thing is, though, the moment they do something good, they're willing to go, all right, Blizzard, come back. It's like, all right, Blizzard.
Well, I mean, isn't it the same way as Valve fanboys? Because Valve fanboys are the same way.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Actually, I don't know.
Steam gets a pass.
Counter-Strike.
Steam gets a pass on all kinds of bullshit.
Oh yeah,
really should not. But
the fact that Counter-Strike is a 4-year-old game and still has hacks out the ass, and back banning does absolutely nothing. Let's not get on Steam customer support. It's trash.
Yeah,
you get your account stolen, you might hear back from them in 6 months.
Yeah, like I said, Steam gets or I should say Valve. Valve gets a pass on a lot of shit they shouldn't really. Bethesda gets away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but that's
so
the
does
reason
Bethesda
Buggy Games gets away with murder with some of these buggy games. The fact that Skyrim just flat out did not work on PS3 at launch. I don't know if it works to this day. I've heard rumors that it doesn't work on PS3 to this day. I don't know. I didn't play it on PS3.
Yeah.
But the fact that Skyrim can launch it was like Battlefield 4 Arkham Knight status at launch apparently.
Yeah.
And they got a pass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's a lot of times the thing that irks me is the way that people give a lot of these companies passes. Like, Gearbox cannot live down Alien Colonial Marines. They can't get rid of that. That stigma stays with them. Even if Battleborn's a good game, which, I mean...
Let's not forget...
It's a decent game.
They weren't responsible for that whole fiasco, but at the end of the day, their name is on it. Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yep.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
Even though I will say with Gearbox was the thing where it was still their fault, but they weren't the ones that actually developed Duke Nukem Forever. They basically outsourced it and then left the guys alone and ignored the game. And then when they came back and were like, okay, what have you guys done? And then the guys they outsourced it to were kind of like, here's this broken mess of just pile of garbage. And the Gearbox was
basically it was... the Arkham Knight port again. But speaking also, the best part about Duke Nukem Forever is the fact that you can play the old Duke Nukems on the game. Yeah. That's about all they're useful for.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the thing is that that was another way Gearbox, the thing is that the CEO, that Randy Pitchford, he has at no point made any attempt at saying, hey, you know what? We've done bad in the past. If this was what the hell's that dude from Xbox that I can't remember his name right now, the marketing the boss of Xbox.
Oh,
Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer. He is they'll make fuck ups all over the place, and Phil Spencer will be like, We fucked up. But hey, here's a new shiny thing. He is like this born salesman, like oozing with charisma, and just can slide through any situation, with the appearance of being completely honest, which is probably why he does well. He is.
The people love Phil Spencer.
I guarantee the guy is a fucking sociopath and is probably a serial killer. Okay, he's not a serial killer, but
can we get to this comment real quick? This is hilarious. Overwatch was a quirk of luck based on the fall of Project Titan. I don't think it started as Overwatch versus Battleborn from this. I don't think you realize how hardcore these Blizzard fans are, dude.
Yeah, like, it's not a quirk of luck.
They're like.
I think he was saying
PS4 and Xbox fanboys.
I think what he's saying is that like Overwatch was born out of Project Titan, right? There's supposed to be this whole other game that got canned, and then as it got canned, they tried to salvage what they could out of it. Which part of what they salvaged was the multiplayer component, and that ended up being the building blocks for Overwatch.
Okay, I read it as, they were successful, like they were lucky. I'm like, no, Blizzard has a pretty hardcore fan base and have for a long time.
It was
maybe not to the console audience,
I'm not sure.
I will say that I don't think either game started like purely as we're going to compete with each other.
No. It's only been this year.
That they happened to come up and it was like, whoa.
It's only been
I don't think Overwatch ever tried that.
Yeah, Overwatch has not tried to compete with Battleborn at all. It's only been late last year, early this year, that Gearbox has stepped up marketing, directly mirroring a lot of the marketing for Overwatch. It is clear that they were trying to aim themselves as being competition for Overwatch. They also released the game right ahead of the same of Overwatch as well. Even dropped the price to match Overwatch at launch, despite Battleborn having a ton more content. And guess what? Guess what game is doing a lot better? Overwatch.
I mean, I thought the beatdown that Rise of the Tomb Raider took versus Fallout was bad, and then this happened.
Yeah. So it's not a quirk of luck. Like anybody could have predicted that would happen. Me personally, I love a lot of the aspects of Battleborn because it is very mobile. Like you've got creeps, you have to grind up levels and get last hits and that sort of thing. So it's very mobile-like in that sense, especially in the main PvP area, which is not based on the story mode at all. That's its own PvP mode that is actually similar to MOBA type games. But it's still, like, first of all, like, it's visually noisy as shit. I can hardly tell what the hell's going on in that game half the time. And I didn't realize it at first until I saw somebody reviewing the game mention that. And I was like, yeah, I did notice that. Honestly, it could be solved by the simplest thing. Turn off the damn damage numbers. Just like, yeah.
I bet you there's a mod for that.
But, like... In any case, though, the big thing that I look at is Overwatch overall feels like a more fun game. Like, I have more fun playing Overwatch versus Battleborn. That's really the crux of it, right? I wish that there was more depth, or at least more characters, which there will be more characters released for Overwatch. So, I mean, that's its own bonus there.
It's a pretty deep game when you think about it. Mechanically, every character plays uniquely.
That is not what I call depth. I mean, I'm talking depth as in beneath the surface, as in, like, I pick up Zarya, for example, and I play Zarya, and there's different ways to build Zarya to suit different situations.
Oh, okay.
Like
the Mass Effect multiplayer, for
exactly.
example. We had all the characters, but you could play, say, the Quarian engineer, because we know I loved her, like 4 or 5 different ways.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean by depth. It's like when you take the like there's really not a whole lot under the surface of Overwatch. And unfortunately, after you play it for, about, I would say, 20-ish hours or so, you have largely experienced everything and almost every permutation the game's going to have to offer. Which is kind of unfortunate, but the nice thing about it, it's kind of like Warframe, right? Warframe... You play several of the maps, right, with different characters, you pretty much have a feel of how the game's going to play out from then on out. But it's the fact that, that gameplay loop is damn fun and easy to do. That's what kind of keeps you going. it's not so much that it's that dry. Because if Overwatch is dry, no one would play it. But let's go ahead and get moving on. Are
we finally going to get to the main entree?
Yeah,
the meat and potatoes?
The meat and potatoes here, the one that Kev has been chomping at the bit to talk about.
Overwatch all night. We good. We Overwatch all night. Overwatch is life!
But, so obviously, AMD, I think it was this past week, announced the RX 480. And NVIDIA, the week before, which we didn't get a chance to talk about, they announced the 1070 and it got benchmarked this week. Now, caveat before we get started, the 480 has no independent objective benchmarks done on it yet. So any speculation about the 480's performance that's mentioned here is completely speculation, has no evidence behind it. The 1070 has been benchmarked, does have clear objective numbers behind it. I know Travis absolutely loves when we talk about hardware because he's just like, it's not a gun.
We also shout out to Zython for getting that 960.
Yep.
Can I put a GTX 9 whatever in my car?
There you go. Turbocharger.
Yes, you can put it in your car, drive it home, and ascend.
Now to lay it out here, this will kind of lay out the field on here. So
does it plug into an aux jack?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I can figure it out. We can mod it.
The RX 480 is toting itself legitimately as realistic performance-wise. It's going to perform probably about on par with the R9 390. That's my prediction on there. The R9 390. Yeah, the R9 390, and it costs $200. Now the R9 390 is about $300 to $350. All right.
Yeah,
so,
and that's about on par with my 970. I can see that.
So and that's the big key on there is now it performs about on par with a 390, but it uses a heck of a lot less power, and it's about $100 and $150 less. So on the surface, just by what it's claiming, damn, that's a good value proposition. At the same time, you have the GTX 1070. It's performing better than the GTX Titan X in pretty much every game that's played, and it costs $370. So it's costing about as much. It costs more, a little bit more than the R9 390.
Almost twice. Almost double.
Yeah, almost double, but you get double the performance. I don't know if it's exactly double.
I'm not sure if this is even a fair comparison though, because we're talking about an 80 series, which is more or less the NVIDIA 60 series.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the 80s are on par with. So a 380 is on par with a 960.
So is there a comparison? Because I thought it was supposed to be so you had the 90X. Was supposed to be the TI.
The 90X is like the
80 Ti.
Like the 980.
Okay.
No, that's like the standard 980. That's what we were talking about before the show, and I was talking about the benchmarks.
Yeah.
Like the Fury and the Fury X are supposed to be trying to take on the 980 Ti, and they're not even close.
Now the thing is here, I will point out that we're not comparing the performance of the two cards in our kind of discussion here, because obviously the 1070 obviously will outperform it. Maybe I would say asterisk there, caveat, it will perform it except in Ashes of the Singularity, which is pretty much every AMD's fanboy is their only real game to claim that AMD cards do better. Because the Fury and the Fury X both do better in Ashes of the Singularity than the 1070. Aside from that, you do have a great comparison on value for your money, right? So the amount of performance you get out of the 1070 versus the price versus the amount of performance you get from the 480 for the price.
I mean, I would say when you're looking at performance and you're basing these, AMD tends to do really well on the lower end. Right? I don't think NVIDIA has really gotten that market around. They get the market because we're NVIDIA. And everybody, and it was kind of like what you said. Everybody kind of deems NVIDIA good, AMD bad. Where NVIDIA, where they thrive, is the high end. But go mid range, low end, AMD is very competitive. They just can't compete with like the 980 Ti's of the world.
Yeah, and I will note on there, as Brimy was saying, the bargain basement VR, there's no benchmarks on its actual VR performance yet. So we can't really say that it's a not a great experience with VR or what have you. You know, we don't know that yet.
I mean, when we're looking at this, you talk about bargain basement VR. What about the consoles?
Yeah,
They're looking at bargain basement VR too. So that's going to be, I think, a measuring stick a little bit. That we're probably going to get on par, I would think.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and you got to realize when you're selling as like a gaming GPU is a VR GPU, like, right? So the 970 right now is kind of that's the sweet spot for spending little as money as you can to get a baseline VR experience. So if the 480 can do what the 970 does, 970 is like what, probably $280 to $300 now.
Yeah, they're about. I saw them on 250 on Newegg yesterday.
Yeah,
and it's still the most popular card on Steam.
Yeah, and the thing is if they can do that same level of performance from the 370, but only $50 left, $50 less. I would say that's a win. I mean, that's still the bargain basement of VR, just like the 970 is, but you're spending less money for it. So that's,
but the way the world works, let's be honest, that $50 people will just go for Nvidia. Most people will, because AMD is deemed bad.
Yeah,
I don't think AMD is bad. Actually, my Max card may very well be AMD, but a lot of people deem AMD bad.
One thing I think that maybe doesn't get talked about enough is just how familiar people are with NVIDIA over AMD. Because NVIDIA has been the one that's kind of been the go-to for quite a while now. Well, I think just more people are more familiar, and people tend to want to stick with stuff that's familiar.
Yeah.
Like, they do it subconsciously. It's like it's a much easier to go. Yeah, they do it because it's easier. You don't want to have to research. You can know, like, if you're familiar with NVIDIA, you can be like, okay, I know what this card is. But it's like AMD, it's like, well, I'd have to do this new stuff. I'd have to get new driver software. I'd have to go and look and figure out what their coding is, or how they brand their cards. Just people tend to don't want to do that sometimes. They'd rather just, if it works, they'll stick with what they're using because it's familiar.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that to kind of address it on there, like, as far as the VR experience, really when you get down to the VR experience, which is where the 480 is trying to advertise its main benefit, is getting people VR on cheap. You're still looking at, $800 to $1,000 just for the GPU plus the VR headset itself, or the gear associated with it. So that's still a pretty steep price for a lot of people into the gaming market. So as a result, you then look at its actual gaming performance outside of that. And the thing is that whenever you look at like 2K or 4K monitors, and that's another thing that Sam Grizzle was saying on Twitch, talking about 2K and 4K monitors, all of these new cards, let's put it this way. Even the 1080 at 4K resolution oftentimes barely holds 60 frames per second, sometimes a little bit more, but doesn't reach much higher than that. Which is that's saying all it needs. At your 2K range, your 1440p monitors, it can't even get up to 120 frames per second on ultra presets. So when you're looking at the 1080, which is kind of right now, that is the card to beat until the 1080 Ti and if they release a Pascal Titan. When you kind of look at those, you're not getting that great of performance at those high resolutions yet. They still haven't released a card that could do 4K 14 or 144 hertz. I guess that's kind of benchmark for ultimate performance.
We're just not starting to get monitors that can even do that.
I don't know if there are any 4K monitors that do 144 hertz yet.
I think there were a couple of Computex. I'd have to look into it, but I think I heard about a couple.
Yeah. But in any case, though, I think the big test on here, we'll have to see the performance. The big one on there is if they do have it on performance with the 480 has performance of the 390, 480, 390. Make sure I got that right. And it's more efficient. I would say that's also a huge win. You guys remember a couple weeks back when I was talking about the Polaris cards coming out, and I was saying that, hey, I don't think the performance was going to be anything astounding, but it was going to be more efficient. This is kind of exactly what I was expecting. And I'm still hopeful. Still want to see benchmarks on it. But as far as launch day bugs, also to blight me, AMD and Nvidia have both had issues a lot of times with launch day cards.
Here's the thing, though,
Nvidia 700
and it's not
AMD's
fault.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's AMD's fault, but to be honest, a lot of games come out and it's like, oh, there's this issue that only occurs with AMD cards.
I feel like that might be GameWorks.
Well, I think it might be GameWorks, but I think it also depends on the gamer. Like, for a gamer like Joe, since Joe doesn't buy most of his games day one anyway, I don't see that being a big deal for someone like him. And I think Joe's like a lot of gamers. As opposed to me, I buy most of my games day one or launch week. That would be a problem for me.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that whenever I actually look at the ideal performance of like a lot of those, like you said, yes, software is the big side of it. And NVIDIA, for the most part, is the more solid of the two as far as its software side, the drivers and the package that goes along with it. Also for Kev, his Shadow Play, obviously you don't really have anything on AMD side that really can hold a candle to Shadow Play, because the Raptor Gaming Evolve software is garbage. I like
the Raptor. Actually, I've used the Raptor, so I like it.
I've used it before, and after I tried Shadow Play, I realized that Shadow Play was far superior. And then, of course, getting into YouTube and streaming and stuff, OBS is again even a further step up the ladder.
And that would actually be the question, like, what do you like? Like, Shadow Play is amazing. Like, Shadow Play is my go-to recording software. I use Shadow Play for everything. But I have no issues with, like I said, the Raptor. OBS, I think once you get your head around OBS, I still think it's a little convoluted, but it's damn powerful. Mm-hmm. It's just, I like that when I open up my game, Shadow Play, it just opens up and I hit F9 and I'm recording. I hit F6 and I record the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that is a little tricky to set up in OBS, but I'm really a podcast about software that we've had that discussion before. So I would say, let's kind of go around and pose this to everybody on here. So, Travis, if you were given, $400 right now, just $400 to buy a GPU or whatever, and you had the choice to buy a 480 or a 1070. I shouldn't say that, actually. Let me rephrase that. How
about two 480s?
Well, no, because that's not going to be comparison. That's going to be greater. That's going to jump over the 1070. But if
1070 jumps over a single 480.
Yeah, I don't know. If you were budgeting to build a new computer and you had the option of building a more powerful CPU with a 480, so you can do a lot more stuff simultaneously while you were gaming, or you could have a more powerful GPU and max out the settings, but you could just game because you had a weaker CPU. Which one would you do? The 480 or the 1070?
Honestly, I'd probably go towards the one that I could do more specifically, so I could have, like, I'd like to have Skype open, or Discord, so we can chat, while we game, or oftentimes I like to open up wiki pages while I game as well. I think having that ability would be better than just settings.
So you'd probably be more in the 480 market range, and then get yourself like an i7, because yes, AMD still doesn't have shit on Intel as far as CPUs as of yet. Joe, you were given the option. Better CPU with a 480 or a a weaker CPU with a 1070, which would you go for?
Well, as someone who has a very old and very shitty CPU right now,
Hey, that 760 goes strong.
Yes, I said CPU. It's bottlenecking my entire system. Is my shitty CPU that I'm hoping to upgrade with my first paycheck. But
get that 8350, you'll be fine.
Blight Me, you would have to talk to Zyphon about the. Well, I guess he's actually in the chat. Is
even upgrade to. But I'll worry about that in a little while.
So it was pretty much like i5 and a 480, or an i7 and a 10, or sorry, an i7 and a 480, or an i5 and a 1070.
Probably an i5 and a 1070. Honestly, I don't think for my purposes I need more than an i5.
Yeah,
it depends on what you're looking to do, though. I mean,
that i5 rig just seems a lot more balanced too. It's like there's way too much CPU for a 480. Maybe that's just me.
I mean, just i7, it's overkill for me.
Yeah,
like for my
if you're doing, like, for example, Blight Me was talking about, he's got 4 monitors, he's got Netflix, he's got this and that running, got a bunch of different things running simultaneously. You do need that CPU as overhead to kind of like to multitask a lot of those things. For just gaming, i5 is all that you need for gaming. Like,
right. Some very, very few games actually. I have an i7. I have a 4770. I can think of a few games that actually taken advantage of it. Like Just Cause 3 was taking advantage of it. Fallout 4 takes advantage of it.
MMO games tend to take advantage of a lot of CPU as well.
Yeah, they do. A lot of open world games do actually too. Well, no, not games, man. Yeah, maybe Bethesda games. I don't know, but a lot. The other Bethesda stuff I had, like the Wolfenstein games, Doom, didn't really take much advantage of it. But I find that more of the newer open world games really take advantage of that i7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But your more linear corridor stuff, especially stuff like you got, say, from like before the new consoles came out, none of them really take advantage of my i7. Yeah. I doubt most of them from them probably take advantage of an i5.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people that still have like a Haswell or an Ivy Bridge i5, and they're like, yeah, it's not bottlenecking at all. And they usually, that's your kind of, when I'm talking, that's the best for gaming, I'm talking your mainstream guys, your guys that are going to have the 480s, the 390s, the 970s, the 960s, that kind of sweet spot middle range. It's not an enthusiast grade machine. It's not a budget machine. It's right in the middle.
Everyday Joe game.
Yeah.
Because everybody has this misconception. Every PC gamer has a 980 Ti. Meanwhile, we're all PC gamers, and not one of us have that.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of people, and like I said, the rig that I'm going to be building is going to have a 1080 in it. So, I mean, I am going to have a higher end computer, but the key on there, and I'm even debating on getting the 6800K. Actually looks kind of, I think it was a 6800K. It looked interesting to me.
The new Intel?
Yeah, not Haswell, the I don't know, the 6000 series extreme editions. But
I don't follow CPUs as well, so I'm trying to figure. I know Intel just announced the new one though.
Yeah, it's their extreme editions. I'm trying to remember, not Skylake, but the chip that was right before it that Intel tried to brush under the rug and pretend didn't happen. Broadwell, that's the one. Broadwell E chips just launched, and they're like the 6800, 6850, 6900, and 6950. The 6950 costs $1,700 fucking dollars. $1,700. It's a 10-core CPU. It's ridiculous, and nobody's gonna fucking need it.
The look on Kev's face right now.
he's just like, the fuck?
Priceless.
I think I broke his brain.
Like I was telling you guys, it's 90 degrees here right now, and I'm just so I get that yawn.
Yeah,
I'm not from
15.
Florida and Arizona, so I'm not used to this kind of heat. I'm from Seattle, where it's cold most of the time and it rains a lot. Remember?
It was just like
that when you open up your car, if it's been sitting out in the sun, it's literally like opening up an oven door.
No, see, in Arizona, it should be illegal to open up your car.
It's been like high. I think it's been like high 90s here in Florida too. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, this is, I think, the hottest day we've had this year.
I don't know. It's 150.
And to Blight Me, you should always build your own systems. Like, I know that some people don't have the time to, but it's really, I mean, it's kind of A. It's not that difficult, and B. It's kind of like having your muscle car in your garage. No, I didn't build it. I just bought it from some dude that worked on cars.
I mean, we're gamers. Like, we'll play games for 20 hours a week, but we won't build a PC to play our games on. I don't know. And like it's to each his own though. I like the customization and I like the control.
Yeah, like mine. I've been previously. I was all about having the silent computer because mine is not that quiet, which sometimes you can hear it in the background as I'm talking and so on. But
I don't hear it.
I don't hear it. Mine's not silent at all.
Yeah,
you guys never hear mine, so
yeah. But and recently I've been kind of debating with Zyphon about possibly doing something a little bit more pretty, because I'm thinking of getting the 1080, the Gaming X, the MSI Gaming X 1080. That's like a fucking Christmas tree, and I'm like, well, if I got that, then I would have to, have a windowed case. And so,
are you going to do something like my Blue Meanie?
No, I'm looking at the NZXT Noctis 450. It is a very, very pretty case.
I like NZXT.
I have my Corsair case, the Spec 01. I still love this thing.
Yeah,
and I got the blue lights in the back.
Well, it was pretty much that Noctis 450 in comparison with Silverstone's Fortress of Revision 5. Well, no, the big thing about it is they actually take the motherboard and it's actually placed in the case at 90 degrees. So the back panel, the rear I/O panel, is actually on the top of the case, and then it's got a cover over top of that you run the cords out the back. And it's actually brilliant for cooling because obviously heat rises, and a lot of times a lot of cases are designed to vent heat out the back. So it's actually a great setup.
So let's reel it back in. Yeah. And I want to know this from Morty. What's it going to take for you to get on the AMD team, graphics card wise? I understand CPUs; they're not on the same point with Intel. So they're good for their money, but what's it going to take for you to get on?
I think they're good budget CPUs.
Yeah,
so I think that's the thing with AMD in general. If you get something like mid range, AMD is great.
Yeah, so
I say for CPU or GPU, they're great.
So what would get me on Team AMD? Number one, for the CPU. I'm not sure if there would be anything.
Oh, I thought the CPU was a lost cause.
Yeah, and I mean they have new CPUs supposedly coming out soon, but I don't know if they're gonna have anything coming out in time that's gonna do any good. But as far as the GPU wise, first of all, I have like one of the reasons why MSI has kind of been my go-to is because Afterburner. So you'd have to have an MSI option for Afterburner because I love monitoring all of my shit on my G13.
Afterburner, that's a good option because that works on AMD and NVIDIA.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware. So as long as it has that. And then as far as performance goes, I mean, if the 490X performs on par with, which I just to throw it out there, I'm highly suspicious that the 490X and the 490 are probably not going to launch until the 1080 and the 1080 Ti comes out. So, but yeah, you give me performance on par with, say, something around the 1080 for couple $100 less. That would get me on Team AMD. I'm not that attached to NVIDIA. If you gave me the performance for a better price, I'm going to take that shit. I have no compunction about that. It would just have to be MSI branded because that's just the one that I've kind of integrated with a lot of my stuff. But yeah,
we like our brands. Like I like, for example, my peripherals. I really am loving Corsair right now.
Logitech. Logitech.
Yeah, I like Corsair. Razer's okay. I'm loving them less. Though my Razer mouse, one that y'all said would die in 6 months, it'll be a year old on Father's Day, still going strong.
Hey, you know what? Kudos, because like I said, Razer makes some beautiful and some very functional designs. I've just had too many problems with their durability.
Yeah, mine's still going strong. Built like a tank from day one. I've had really good luck with EVGA graphics cards.
That's
See,
the one I'm
All
on right
all
now.
3 of my videos that I've had have been EVGA.
Yeah, I know you, and that's also Zyphon has an EVGA in his case as well. And I know that a lot of you guys are on EVGA. I just like the only thing that has really sold me on EVGA is their support.
Yeah, their
Because
support is excellent.
their warranties, their support process are second to none. Like nobody competes with them. But that's I've yet to actually have a part fail on me here at work where I'm dealing with tons of computers. Yeah, shit fails all the time. But
my 970 actually was DOA. Like I got it, it worked right for a little bit, and then it just
That's
started
right.
crashing games, and I had the RMA hit. They had it back to me in a couple days.
that's actually kind of that. Well, I mean, that's great. That's obviously what you want, right? MSI has like, yeah, they get shit done, but they're definitely not are not world renowned for their support. Like I think there's EVGA and then Sonic, I believe, is the other guys that are well known for having outstanding customer support.
I hear Rocat's really good too. Not for obviously for peripherals, but like I sent my card in Monday morning. I had it back Wednesday afternoon. Brand new card. They just sent me a new one.
Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and just skip the evergreen topic, and since I guess this worked out well enough as being an evergreen topic for us. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and give our closing thoughts.
So before we go to that, I think we should talk about E3 next week. The E3 is going to start next weekend.
Yes.
I think we should do a live show. And then we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, so we talked about a bit. That's kind of seeming like what we're going to do is we will probably be on a bit earlier next Sunday in order to do kind of a live reaction show to kind of have some discussions and watch the some of the trailers. So we're going to have kind of a slightly different, unique overlay for that week of podcasts where our cameras will be below, and then we'll have E3 rolling up above us, and then we'll discuss some of the announcements as they're going on and watch and be quiet and watch trailers and that sort of thing. Joe probably will not be making it because his dog said he couldn't come.
No, well, Joe usually don't watch E3 anyway, do you?
No, not usually. I usually hear about it later.
So it'll we'll probably be about an hour earlier. So it'll be 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern time. I know that'll irk Zyphon because that's right in the middle of his not sure what he's doing stage for the night. But that way we can react, and then I think that'll probably be going on for a couple hours. So we may do it for a couple hours, depending on how much Kev falls asleep during the live stream of it.
Well, we know I'm going to be tired that weekend because we didn't bring it up. I am done with school. I walk next week. I'll have my degree. So as of Saturday, so I am done. All my work is turned in. It is due tomorrow.
Hey Joe, when did you?
So I'm be partying all next weekend.
What?
When did you steal my dog? Hold on 1 second. I will be right back.
So while he's running to go get his dog, so you guys can compare your dogs, I feel like this is some kind of phallic competition here.
No, I was sitting here just a few minutes ago, and there was scratching at my door, and I went and looked, and he was there waiting to come in.
Joe, give us your final thoughts for the week.
Shadow Warrior is great. If you haven't played it, you should, especially if you appreciate cheesy 80s action movies.
Would you say that is of your so far in your top 10 games of 2016?
Well, it came out 2013, so
yeah, it was a console launch title.
Kev, what are your final thoughts for the week?
Overwatch is life. That is my thought. Also, shout out to Blizzard also while we're waiting for Travis. They put out an announcement today about how they're going to be balancing the game. And I wish more developers did this. They're balancing the PC version separately from the console version.
Yeah.
And that's great. If you play games like, I'm going to use Call of Duty, for example, playing Black Ops 3, the shotguns, actually in Advanced Warfare 2, completely overpowered on PC. We're great on console. Completely overpowered on PC. Yep. Snipers are kind of a little bit too on Black Ops 3.
Well, because so with Call of Duty, right? You had the quick scoping was so much easier to do on PC, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Right, but I'm saying but they balance everything on Call of Duty in particular for a controller.
And Zyphon wants everybody to know about Mech Warrior because that's his bay right now.
See, I'm gonna need Zyphon to gamer up and put in some PTO for E3 like he should have already done.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. You should totally call off work next week already, and you can join us in place of Joe, and so Joe can work while you're not working.
If not, we'll have to find a fourth. Maybe I'll go and I'll talk to some people in the community too. There's a few people in the community I've been wanting to get on here anyway.
Yeah, but
shout out to my console folk.
Yeah, more the merrier. We can have like a little E3 party. So Travis, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I definitely want to do that next week, and I would be excited to. And I might have somebody with me to give some commentary on it as well.
Hey, there we go.
You guys wouldn't mind that, so.
Yep.
Oh yeah, bring. Oh, I assume it's her. I'm assuming it's his girlfriend. But yeah, bring them on.
No, that's perfectly fine. We'll have like a little E3 party next week. Zyphon, I don't know if we'll do 2 hours early because it's whenever the party starts for E3 and they start live streaming. We'll
live stream time 2016.
Because I know they have different channels running it, and I know one of them runs super fucking early through the day. So.
Usually they don't run super early except for during the week.
Yeah, I think it's
Let me see.
Monday.
I'm pulling up Destructoid now.
The
12th.
It's EA.
Oh no, EA. EA's doing it at 1:00.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And then Bethesda's going at 7. I knew EA was doing their own thing, but I didn't know it was going to be this early. So they'll start at 1:00. And then Bethesda starts at 7, which is what I expected. I thought they'd both start at 7.
So we
should go on live like at 6:45 or something.
Or if we could do it even earlier and try to catch recap some of E3, but we'll hash that out. We'll figure it out. We'll tweet out some announcements. So just follow the PC podcast on Twitter, and we'll tweet out sometime early this week the official times we're going to be on there. And that way you guys can check us out. Obviously, you can follow us or just follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, that sort of thing. Obviously, as you guys know, if you like to watch us live, Cam's here live normally every Sunday night at 7 p.m. We're live here on my channel. If you guys want to see it video on demand with some gameplay footage, you can check it out over on Kev's channel. There's a link down in the description, as well as some other social media links and a link to our Discord server where you can chat with us throughout the week on things that we've discussing and that sort of thing. So definitely hit us up on the Discord link down below so we can chat. But on that note, let's go ahead and get signed off here for the night, and we'll catch you guys all next week on the Pixel Crashers podcast.